What's going on, everybody? It's P-Toll, aka PT Sports 84, back with another NBA 2K26 roster video. Today's video, I want to highlight some changes that were made post-launch to player faces added to the draft classes specifically. So, want to dive into a bunch of players that you, as fellow roster makers, might be able to utilize in your rosters now with updated player renders. So let's dive right into the players that I found in various draft classes that have now been added with new player renders. So we're going to switch it to alphabetical order to make it easier to cycle through. First up is Steve Coulter. So you can see he got a new player render there. We're going to jump ahead 2 drafts to the 1986 draft class. We're going to put it in alphabetical order and actually go backwards. We've got Chris Washburn there. And then a second player we have here in Harold Presley. So he got an update as well. Last but not least, we have Tim Kempton with an update. So all of those guys, you could see they were MyTeam exclusive last year. And so now they actually get their player art added, and then they're added correctly into MyTeam. So that's good to see for any roster makers across the board to be able to add those guys in with corrected faces. Going to the 1987 draft class, first up is Steve Alford. He is the first one there in alphabetical order, and he's the only one that got updated with a new face in this draft class. So there he is. Then we jump ahead a couple years to the 1990 draft class, undrafted in this draft class, but very important NBA career, Mr. Eldridge Rakasner. As you can see, he got an updated render there. He was MyTeam only last year. We jump ahead a couple years. The 1993 draft class, and this actually has a couple players in it, so I'm going to go alphabetical order again. We have Scott Burrell here, so he has a face added. You also will need to export him and add him to the 1997-98 Chicago Bulls. That way it updates his render on that team as well. Next up on the list, we have Terry DeHeer. For those that want to create 90s rosters, he's important for the mid-90s, of course. So last but not least, we're going to flip it backwards, and we're going to go back this way to get it in order. We've got James Robinson, also mid to late 90s, Portland Trailblazers. So should be easy to replicate like a 95, 96 season or 96, 97, somewhere in that range. I think that's much needed for 2K, just in my opinion, for the future. That's an era that they can utilize, I think, pretty easily. 1994 draft class. There's a couple guys in this draft class that I want to highlight. So first up, you have Anthony Goldwire. He played for a number of teams, so you will find him there. Next up, we have, Carlos Rogers there as well. And then last but not least, added, and then with a correct render this time, Michael Smith. They had gotten the Michael Smiths confused. Michael Smith of BYU who was in here before. They now have corrected it to the Michael Smith that went to Providence, which is correct. So that's the 94 draft. We're going to skip ahead to the 95 NBA draft class. And there's 2 guys that I want to highlight in here. For those that noticed right there, John Amici is in as well. But Corey Beck played for Charlotte. I think a couple other teams as well, but Corey Beck is there. And then secondly on the list, we have Tyus Edney as well, obviously well known out of UCLA. Going forward, we have One face that actually is already on the classic team rosters, but for some reason has not been updated the last 2 years. But he's had a correct face here, and it's John Thomas. So you'll want to export him here and add him to the 99 2000 Toronto Raptors team if you want to have historic rosters be correct with all the renders included. Next up, we're going to go to the 2000 draft. And with the 2000 draft, we have Khalid El-Amin, obviously of the Chicago Bulls. What's crazy, wild story for him, he made the rookie sophomore game, if those of you remember that. And then not long after that, he was waived by the Chicago Bulls that same season. So that was wild. Going over to the 2002 draft class. We're going to go in alphabetical order again. Linton Johnson is added in the 2002 draft class. He actually finally got his Spurs designation taken off. They had a mistake on that one to where he had that designation and he shouldn't have been added in there. But they did add him, unfortunately, to that draft class without having the render added in. So unfortunately, that's the route they went. I want to go backwards really quickly because there's one player from the 96 draft class that I wanted to highlight. He went overseas for a while and then made the NBA, but he's important to highlight. Amal McCaskill, because you'll want to export Amal McCaskill here and add him into the 2002-2003 Atlanta Hawks. He signed actually the next day after opening night, and so he pretty much, to me, qualifies for that opening night roster for the most part to help fill in the gaps there for any kind of roster makers. So, and you can find them in my Kobe Era roster. If you go to my page on YouTube, you can see the Kobe Era roster that I put together as a baseline, and you'll see him in there. So next up is the 2005 draft class, and you will find Sherrod Ford in the 2005 draft class. So there he is. I'm going to jump ahead 1 year. And we're going to go to the 2006 draft class. And we're going to go... Actually, you know what? No, I went to the wrong draft class. Actually, believe he's 2005 as well. I marked it as 06, but I think he came in earlier. Let me just double check that really quickly. It seems like I wrote it down wrong. And so I want to make sure... I have him marked correctly. So, so let's see. I think he's 2005 draft class. I actually didn't mark it down, so I'll come back to him and see if I can find him. He's not in the 05 draft class as well. I know he has a face made, so now I just got to find him. Give me just a second. Because some guys went overseas for multiple seasons, and then they ended up coming back. So he actually should be in the 04 draft class. And so I marked it wrong, so my apologies there. There he is. Andre Brown has an updated face. I was off by a year, so. And then you'll see guys like Antonio Burks and some other guys. They're added into, if you looked at the historic team rosters, you'll see those as well. So now, last but not least, I want to highlight 3 players that are only in the draft classes, but they should also be on MyNBA Era rosters, and they are not currently. The first one is Gerald Henderson Jr., you can see him right there. He has his face correctly added, so he needs to go on the Charlotte Bobcats in the 10-11 era, as well as the 76ers in the 16-17 era. And then last but not least, I've got two guys from the 2016 draft. And so really quickly, got Troy Williams added in, and because he has a scan there, you can't see his face, but there he is with a real render from when he has his face scan originally when he was in the NBA. And then should have one more, but I don't see him. I thought he was 2016 undrafted. Let's see, Nicholas. He's 2015, so I was a year off. I struggle with the undrafted guys on what their actual class is represented by. So 2015 draft, and there he is. There's Nicholas Brasino. You can see with the render as well. So he would actually go on 2016, 2017 Dallas in the MyNBA eras as well. So yeah, there's a lot of faces. There's also additional faces that now have player renders that are MyTeam exclusive. What I will have to do is pre-record a video and highlight those faces one by one in a already recorded video, because if you go through MyTeam, it takes a long time to find which area they're in, because the search feature for players is now broken. So unfortunately, finding them quickly and doing a quick video summary will be better pre-recorded, and then I will be able to show the faces as I'm talking. But I'll get that video out hopefully by the end of this week and highlight those new renders for the MyTeam only guys that don't have draft classes in the game. So hope everybody enjoyed this video. You're able to utilize those new faces in the game. My hope is we get a cleanup update for all of the MyNBA eras and the historic rosters coming pretty soon, because there's a lot of errors, a lot of things that can be additionally added across the board. But until next time, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Consider a donation if you don't mind. Even $5 is great. It will go to my son and help with him with anything, just trying to help him save up for different things. The support of the channel has been great. Thank everybody for watching and all of that, tuning in, supporting in every way that you can. So until next time, hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and take care.